So we are here at Deadstock Coffee.
Yeah.
Yes, with Ian Williams. Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for being literally here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Behind scenes a little bit, you know?
You guys are in the office.
The dungeon.
Yeah.
We call this the fun factory.
Ooh.
Nice. Well, so why are we here? So we're here because we're stoked to have you as a keynote speaker at Into the Woods this summer.
I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah. Like we're super hyped.
Shout out to David
Yeah.
Cavassa, Mega Supremo, for making the connection.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I've lived here for a while now. Definitely always heard of you and knew
Yep.
of the shop. And when David came and made the connection, I was personally really excited and hyped up, you know. So you kind of seem like a Renaissance man a little bit in a ways.
Can you explain what that means? Like, I've heard it a lot of times, but I'm like, yeah.
Well,
Do I like that or not?
Yeah, exactly.
Do I like that description of myself?
it's like you got many talents, you do mad things, you know. It's like, you're making coffee, you were designing shoes, like what do you not do? You know what I mean?
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, okay, I appreciate that.
You're
Yeah.
shipping, doing fulfillment, like
Yeah.
Dan knows that's hard work.
Yeah. It
sucks.
That's shitty work.
Yeah. That's the work of that's the work of legends. Like if you love that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
man, you're a that assistants and like admins,
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff, man.
Don't want those jobs.
Yeah,
need it.
yeah. Shout out Nailani, our operations person. She loves that stuff. I hate it.
Yeah, well, shout out to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're roasting beans and just seems like a lot of stuff in a wide array of things, as well as creating content on your YouTube channel. And yeah, just cool to see, it's like, damn, it's like a wide array of stuff. I mean, shit, you got a running club as well out of here, and I could probably keep it going, maybe a skate team or
man, I would love to have a skate team.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That is definitely, I think I'm just a person who likes to mess with things, and I speak as honestly as possible. Like, I'm not a designer. I'm a person who can make stuff. I'm better at like making things with my hands or being like identifying things that are cool, but and I wouldn't say I'm like a creative director either. I'm just a guy who understands what is cool, what some other people might like, and then sometimes I just get frustrated and I just do it myself. But
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
That's the harder part, honestly. Anybody could learn the program, Adobe, whatever. You could take a tutorial, but the vision is what you can't teach. So the fact that you have that's the hard stuff. You know
I
what
appreciate
I mean?
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, it's even in the office, we talk a lot about like the brain and the wrist. You know what I mean? Anybody could be the wrist, but you got to have the brain, or else the wrist has nothing to do. So.
Yeah, I think what's cool is what ties the thread that kind of ties it all together is sneakers, which is rad. It's cool to see that, like, you have that one vibe that ties everything together, which is.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Even thinking about Portland as a city, I mean, there's two things that come to mind. Well, maybe three, but woodworking or logging is out of it. You know what I mean? But it's shoes and coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you kind of like brought that together. And low key, how come why wasn't it done sooner than you doing it? You know what I mean? Like,
I wonder that too. And when I was telling people this is what I wanted to do, everybody was like, I was working at Nike. I had some friends who we went on this crazy trip. And we'll talk about this. They're at the conference. On this late one night, we'll talk about this. But I had some friends have some friends. They're still friends of mine. They were performing at the Yahoo year-end like holiday party, and they flew a group of people down to San Francisco. And it was when I was still working there. A bunch of us actually worked at Nike at the time, and we got in the elevator the night before the performance, and I was like, I think I'm gonna quit and open up a sneaker themed coffee shop. And they were like, yeah, that doesn't exist. And I was like, no, anywhere, And I just was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. And then, and that was really how it started. And as I started to look around, I found other people who were doing cool stuff. CC,
CC
like that down that themed coffee space.
Yeah.
And then I found some other places that were like shoe stores that had, or like clothing stores. Benny Gold, they were doing chai. And they just had the chai just like rolling all day, but it was all apparel, and they just happened to serve chai also. And so just looking at those kind of things and being like, well, what if we flip that? And I wanted it to be a community space where people who enjoy the industry or who want to be in the job or whatever, like, I wanted a community space. Coffee was just the way that I was going to make money. And then as I started getting into coffee and people were disrespecting me, you know, not in a rude way. They just were like, who are you? We don't know you. Why are you here in this coffee world? I just was like, oh, okay, well, now I have to beat you all at this thing. So
Yeah.
I feel like I do an okay job. You know, we could always do better, but
I mean, didn't you just win a James Beard Award?
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
That's-
Sounds like you're making the right
You-
coffee and you're doing
you
it
won.
right.
You won.
we got it from media, you know, and it was, but you know, listen,
Count
James
it.
Beard is James Beard. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna count that
exactly.
thing.
Yep.
So, it definitely, you know, not for y'all, but the price just went up. You know, so yeah.
Good thing we locked you in.
The price
You know,
just went up.
Yeah.
locked you in before that.
If I like you, the price stays the same. But you know, if I don't know you, if you're calling out the blue, you know,
Yeah.
expect that yesterday's price is not today's
Yeah,
price. So
the James Beard price.
yeah, James
Great.
Beard price. I'll rock that medal all day.
yeah.
yeah.
Hey, you should go print a shirt with that.
Man,
Oh yeah.
we really should.
Yeah.
That's why you guys are. That's
That's
why.
what we do. This.
Yeah.
We do this.
That'd
Yeah.
be great. To give us a little background of somebody who's kind of watching this, kind of thinking, oh, should I go to this conference or who's speaking? Like a little bit of background on yourself and the Nike journey and to getting here, and doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, I'm from Newport News, Virginia, 10 minutes away from where Allen Iverson is from, the greatest basketball player of all time. That's why there's a whole shrine wall over there.
Okay. I see that.
And I have immense appreciation just for basketball and for just like cool stuff. And so we moved here when I was 9 years old. But Iverson at that point, it was 96. He was just leaving Georgetown, and then he went to play for the Sixers. And my family's from Philly, so I had like that was my connection to back home. And then where I'm from, in Newport News, which is also nicknamed Bad News, is an area where it's not so great all the time. But a lot of the people who were wearing cool shoes and stuff like that were drug dealers and stuff like that. But there were people who had extra. And so sneakers were the way that I was like, oh, I want to look like I got extra. Like, that's what we all want, right? So I got into the love of, like, I wanted shoes. And then Iverson started to had his own signature line. And I got one pair of shoes a year, so that was just my shoe. And the next year, that shoe would become my school shoe, or that was my school shoe would become my play shoe, and just like rotation. And so that was what like got my love for sneakers happening. It wasn't until I was like 17 that I noticed that the Nike headquarters was in like minutes away from where I was growing up. Right?
Nike's right there.
It's right there. We passed it so many times going to church or going to wherever, and I just thought it was just like a Nike place.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty interesting, and I just started to see that like I wanted a career in footwear because I wasn't going to make it to the league. I'm like barely shorter than AI, and he had his own, trajectory, way better than me. And so I just was like, what if I just work in this thing? Yeah. And weasel my way into, like, I worked at the employee store. I worked at IHM, which is now called AirMI, where they make the airbags. I realized that like I needed to be discovered. I was a dude with no degree, didn't really have very much. I was terrible at school when I was in high school. And so I was like, well, the way I'm gonna make it is by like people liking me and me proving to people that I can do the thing. I found a job on campus as a janitor, and then that was how I would get to know people. So I would work in an area, get to know everybody, and then purposefully get in trouble so they would move me to a new area so I could meet new people.
That's great.
And so, and really, as you could tell, I like to talk. So really, it was from me talking. They'd be like, listen, you need to stop talking and do some work. We're going to move you out of that area. And I remember the first time it happened, I was like, wait a minute, this is how I get to know people? Like, this is how I get moved? I was like, oh, this is great. Because at first I was just trying to do a great job at cleaning. I was like, mopping the floor, like, hey, look at me,
What was the first building you started in? Just curious.
Mia Hamm.
Okay.
I was in Mia Hamm, and I was in the basement of Mia Hamm,
Okay.
which is now part of the newer part of the innovation kitchen. But that was where they were making all the like tooling molds, all the metal molds, and like, CNCing blocks of aluminum and steel, and like RP parts, like rapid prototype, all that stuff. And so it was cool to watch that. But at 5 o'clock, everybody left. And that was when we came in, and I was like, well, I'm meeting no one,
Got it.
But I'm looking at molten plastic that's like drying in puddles that I have to throw away. But I'm like, what were they doing with this before?
Yeah.
I want to know what they were doing before. And so I just was like more curious, more like as a sneaker kid, I was just like more curious, more. So yeah, from that part of Me and Ham, I got moved over to Jerry Rice to back to Me and Ham. Then they moved me to the lobby, which was stupid because I see everybody.
Talk to everybody.
Yeah, I talked to everybody, right? And then they moved me to Ken Griffey, and then oddly enough, I ended up weaseling my way into a footwear job, and ended up working in the Ken Griffey building. So I went from like taking out the trash in the Ken Griffey on the second floor to working at a desk on the third floor.
That's right.
That's the coolest story to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't go to college either, so just putting the work in, taking what would be considered, you know, a not good job, and rising up through the ranks to become a footwear designer, to me is like the coolest thing ever. You know, like, you did it, you put the work in.
Yeah, I was a developer. I designed like 2 things in my time. I taught myself Illustrator and Photoshop, and I pretended to design.
Yeah.
I had this desk in a hallway that I used to sit at during the day and pretend to be an employee, and then in the evening I was a janitor. And I used to go to meetings with people and everything. Like, the homies was like, "Yeah, bro, come on, who cares?" Yeah. Which cannot be done now. So nobody do that.
Exactly.
Don't do that,
try
y'all.
that.
Don't try it.
Yeah, your route would be hard to duplicate.
Yeah. But at that time it was easy. But I was a developer. So I was like an engineer.
Sounds even cooler almost.
Yeah, it's. I mean, listen,
totally.
The designers, it's cool. Y'all draw stuff. You know, we make it. You know,
make it actually work, and
So we're like the factory liaison.
Got it. We were talking about it when we came in. You had some of the children footwear up on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That
always
clock,
super interesting to me, just because it needs to look exactly like the adult shoe.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's like so different from the tooling
Yeah.
and everything. And so much respect to whoever the person that has to make the kids shoes.
Yeah.
That seems so freaking hard.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Kids shoes have like such an interesting challenge. The kids consumer is really the adult, right? The parent.
Yeah, it's the
so it
parents.
needs to be something like, if it's like a pair of Jordans or whatever, like ones, like retro stuff, it needs to look exactly like it, right? Like, you're not paying for whatever, like for cute or whatever. Like, I'm buying a 1. I want it to look like a 1. But for like basketball stuff and all that, like, it needs to be able to go on and off easily. Maybe the kids at the age where they can tie their shoe, but most parents don't want to tie shoes. You know, I don't know if y'all kids, right? Like, so like y'all can, anybody with kids can speak to it more than me, but like, durability is way different because kids are dragging their feet on the ground, and like, so the materials have to be different, and the shoe has to be different, but it also like shouldn't be.
Same,
Should look
same
the
but
same.
different.
Yeah, same but different.
Yeah,
You
yep.
know, so it is
tough.
like, it's such a crazy challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
All right, so I got you off track here. So yeah, you're running through your story.
yeah,
I'm hyped up. I'm hyped
shoe.
up.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
shoes.
So I ended up getting into footwear development. So it's like engineering. The designers, the marketing person goes out and says, we need a low top basketball shoe with maybe a heel airbag for this price. And they said, here's some inspiration. The designer says, here's the inspiration that I got. And does it look like this thing that you asked for? Yes, sounds good. And then they hand it off to the developer. The developer gets it made. So that was my job, but the developer sees it from when it's an idea and says like, yes or no, good idea, bad idea, airbag's too much, this tooling's too much, this material sounds cool, but do you want an upper, do you want bottom? Like, you know, like this, it's the developers are like the bad guys, but I always felt like I was a good bad guy. Like, I was like, bro, you drew it. You know what I'm saying? So let's at least try.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We could try. Yeah. Knowing it might come back wrong, or it might come back over budget or whatever. But just being like like I used to say, I was a designer's developer. So I'm like, I got your back first.
That's cool.
You know, we'll handle the numbers when they come in. It's like, and then we'll just like, we're gonna do yours. We're gonna make sure the good one comes in. And then the one that we know is going to work will be behind the back. And then they're like, so then when we go to meetings and they say, man, that looks amazing. You know, we should figure out how to get the costs down or figure out how to keep these elements so we don't have to worry about the one behind the back. Yeah. But if they're like, no, there's no way. Like, all right, dang, man, here you go. You know, like,
we got this one too.
Yeah, we got this one too. Look how ugly it is.
Yeah.
It looks like butt. Like, we don't want to do that. You know,
so it's always
fun.
Like that sounds super.
It was
fun.
kind of fun because you know, I'm fortunate. The team that I learned in, you know, you have like Nike basketball and you know men's football, global football, you know, and like all that stuff. Those categories have money. They have brand dollars. They have all that stuff. We worked on product that was below $100. So we worked on the stuff like the cheapies, you know? And so we had to figure out how to save money, make it look good. And I was really making shoes for me as a kid. Yeah. You know, like we didn't have a ton of money. Yeah. I'm fortunate that my brother was willing to save his money to buy me one pair of shoes a year, but I got one. Yeah. You know, so really I'm making shoes for that kid who gets one pair a year. And how do you inspire them to do sports or to be active or to whatever it might be? And so you got to win through color materials. And the team that I worked on was a team of people who had been at the company or who've been making footwear at any company, you know, Reebok, Adidas, whatever, for decades. So that those teams were people who were way more, they're so good at making shoes that they could care less about like being in the videos and stuff like that. So they were just like, let me just show you how to make good shoes and then go home and be with my family, you know? And so like, it was an amazing team to work under and to learn from. Did that for about 5 years. And then I just was like, you know what? I think I'm good here. I want to go be with the community, and started doing art shows and like curating art shows. Cause again, I don't art. I'm trying now though. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. I'm trying.
You do. You just
I art in a different way. Yeah. And did that for a couple. Like we did a couple shows, and I just realized art shows just don't really make any money in Portland, unless you. Yeah. We're not gonna talk about and so was like I need something that makes some money. It was like coffee, so it's like coffee. I can have art stuff around, but really I just wanted the people from all the brands to be together. So it's a long-winded way of saying like I just want to do dope stuff with my friends. That's really what it is.
That's cool. That's quite the adventure and route to get there. It's cool though.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, in that whole process, you got a shoe. You got a shoe early on. Like nowadays, they're giving shoes to everybody in a sense. Shit, yeah, I got a buddy who got a shoe, you know, random ass dude. So the fact that you got a shoe so early on, that's kind of crazy.
I did that one while I was a janitor.
That's
inspired by me being a janitor. Yeah.
And then it's based off the wet floor sign, I believe, right?
Yep, which was my job.
That's like the coolest shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that was like what year? 2010. I mean, I'm just
09
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it released in or actually it happened in 2008. The shoe released in 09.
I mean, there's no sneakers app. There's no StockX. There's none of that. You know, this is, I guess for the kids listening, like they don't realize how long ago that was and how different it was.
It was way different. And and you know, on some, y'all understand, like on some nerd stuff, it's a SB. It's not a dunk. It's an SB.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Like it's even more hard, like more difficult, but it just means more. I grew up, my brother is 11 years older. My brother's been skateboarding since I was born. I think he got a skateboard for his 11th birthday. And he is 49 or 48, and he's been skating since then. Yeah. So my brother's a very good skateboarder. Yeah. And so like I grew up around skating. And I can't skate really. I can push back and forth. I'm a bike rider and I ride BMX and like snowboard.
Nice.
But like just growing up in skate shops and then having a shoe that is for skate shops only was like, I was like, and I found out on my birthday, which was kind of tight.
Damn.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they were like, we want to go forward with this thing. And I was like, today's my birthday.
Even that time era to get an SB, it was like so hard. You know, even like it's a different world nowadays, but back then they were really trying to keep it
they was keeping
safe.
It.
You know what I mean? Like skateboarding had a lot to say about Nike at the time, and
a ton.
A lot. You know, I was one of them, and you know, I'm converted now. I'm on the other side. So.
I think everybody is.
Yeah. I mean, once you put them on, and
exactly.
you get a little older, they're just too comfy. But yeah,
and they look good.
They definitely look good, and they last. You know,
and they last. Yeah.
So
it's like you got an SB ad.
You got an SB in 2009. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's just crazy. So.
What
super cool.
So like when they tell you, hey, you're gonna get a shoe, design a shoe, how long from that point till you're holding that thing? Like a year? 9 months?
Yeah, this one was a bit of it was like about a year.
Okay.
And I found out later on the way that it worked out was somebody had there was a spot in the line that dropped out, and I don't know if y'all knew any of the guys who worked for SB then, but you probably know like James Arizumi and those guys like now, right? They in the most respectful way, they could care less about what everybody else is thinking, and they super could care less back then. And so, you know, back then they were like, you know, they had a hole that dropped, and they were like, Ian did this bright yellow thing, you know, let's just throw it in there, and like it looks cool, and they don't really know, and like without telling them the story, Because once you tell them the story in those meetings, they're like, "What, janitor? No." You're right. But then later on, the story comes out, and they're like, "Oh, look at what we've done as a company. Look at us.
Great idea by us.
We uplift the community. Look at they're like, shut up.
Yeah.
But those guys have always been like trailblazers, or like just most of the collabs and stuff. It's like they just want to do cool stuff with their friends. They like beers. They like certain designers and certain cars and certain songs and whatever. Like they go that direction. Yeah. And so, but like for this one, it was faster than usual.
That's cool.
But it was still not fast. It was still like a year.
Yeah.
Of course, in my mind, it was like 12 years.
I'm sure.
Lifetime.
Yeah.
From the time you tell me
you're
that,
like waiting, like when, like what date?
When's it come out? When's it come out? And then they just showed up in stores. There wasn't like a release day. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So it was again a different time period. You know what I mean? Like this is maybe before Instagram. You know what I mean? Like people are probably doing blog posts on their WordPress about it.
I didn't get because
I don't think there was Instagram.
I don't think there was Instagram,
which is kind of crazy to think about. A lot of
I think
times,
Instagram was 2010, right?
These days we talk about pre and post Instagram designers.
Yeah,
and to have a product, pre Instagram again.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
And to have something that like when it sold out, like all that stuff, and it was only 5,000 pair.
Okay.
So it's like not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's again. I saw it on StockX this morning. Like that's sick to have it on there.
It's actually that box right there, the blue one that
this
says
one here?
hold for Ian.
Yeah.
So I ended up calling Cal's Pharmacy because I didn't know how to get a pair.
Damn.
And but I wanted to be able to buy my own pair, and I was like, hey, can you guys hold the pair for me?
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't hold shoes. And I was like, okay, I have a weird story to tell you. And I told them the story like about the shoe, and they're like, if you get here by noon, we'll save it for you. And then I just left. Like I was at the desk, I just left. And I mean, it didn't matter. It wasn't really my desk anyway, so it didn't matter, right?
Shout out Cal's Pharmacy.
Shout out Cal's Pharmacy,
exactly.
man.
Yep,
Town.
That's
I think some of my favorite stuff right now is the stuff that is like secretly underground that most people don't know about. CC just dropped a collab.
Give me the goddamn shoe.
With Adidas.
I got
a pair.
Oh, you did?
Super sick.
Yeah. And so like I like low key got a pair.
Yeah.
And
see
then
the box back
so
there.
it is. Yeah, it's back
Sick.
there. And we had a collab with Adidas a while ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I didn't realize that. That's cool.
This is where I will say that I design. This is where it
That's
comes
where
in.
the
Like,
You're a designer?
Yeah. So shout out to my homie Toma, who was a customer of ours. He was trying to get into design. He was in merchandising at Adidas, skateboarder. Like big time skater. And he was just like, he loved the shop, and he just kept helping us push a project through. And then COVID happened, and they were like, we need some energy, and we don't want to go very far for it. And so Toma was like, remember this guy that I've been trying to talk to you about?
Yeah.
So this shoe was they wanted us to do a coffee shoe that was like really like a latte or like a lavender something or a mocha, and I was like, nah, it needs to resonate more with people who work in coffee only. And so the reason why the three stripes are screen printed is because on a coffee bag, this is how they put logos on it. So instead of being stitched, we screen printed the stripes. This is that coffee bag material. This is a shoe for roasters.
That's cool.
We spill coffee on our shoes all day, so that's why the midsole is speckled.
That's right.
There's a bag inside the coffee bag that's called a Grain Pro that keeps the coffee fresh. That's why it's green. It's like a translucent green, so that's why this is that green. This is there was a pull tab. We were like, let's just switch it because we wanted to kind of nod back to how bags are stitched, which is why the tongue is stitched like this. And then the tongue label is actually like a country of origin label that's on a coffee bag, and it's PDX 16, which is the year we opened right here, and then the airport code in the year that our designer was born, our homie Toma. So like it has like a lot of it, but if it didn't make any sense,
Still looks good.
it still looks good.
Yeah, it's definitely
You know?
wearable.
A lot
Yeah.
of times there's always what's the story and this and that, and as a designer it's like, dude, just make it look cool. Like, just forget the story, but
And I'll try to find it. It came in like a jute bag as well.
Coffee bag
Yeah.
that's cool.
Good looking shoe,
Yeah, thanks.
That's
So
sick.
sorry,
Hell yeah.
CC, ours better.
we'll be seeing Tor today. So
Yeah.
exactly.
Let him know, man.
We'll let him know,
Hey,
yeah.
man, you my dog, man. I appreciate. What you do has inspired me to do what I do.
That's
but
cool.
this is what I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I just like shoes.
Hell yeah.
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 Shoes and coffee.
Yeah.
Shoes and coffee.
I like it.
It's a great combo.
Yeah.
Good place to be too to do all that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We just try to be true to us. I tell the team, like, I let them play for the most part, whatever they want to play. Let them wear whatever they want to wear. We tried the apron thing. We tried all that. And it's like, they're like, man, I can't wear this apron. I worked on my fit today, And I'm like, I don't care about your fit. But I was like, actually, I do care about your fit because I care about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want you to feel comfortable and happy here.
That's cool.
Sounds like
That's
a
right.
cornball.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good
it's-
business owner right there.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Keep the employees happy.
Yeah.
Everybody having a good time.
What are y'all excited about for the conference? This is the first one.
Yeah, our first
I
Yeah.
know it's like an unconference or whatever. I keep calling it a
Yeah.
conference, but
Yeah.
what are y'all excited about?
Yeah, I've been talking about this. I'm just excited about getting everybody together. Like, to me, conferences like design or whatever it is, what you walk away with is that community, and the new people that you met and those relationships basically that you get over those 2 or 3 days. So to me, it's that point of just getting everybody together, meeting new people like yourself, There's going to obviously be good speakers, great workshops and all that. People are going to learn stuff. They're going to be inspired and that whole deal. But they're going to meet new people that will be lifelong friends. We've met so many people at conferences that are friends today, business, acquaintances, whatever. So
I mean, we'll travel halfway across the country for other conferences and see dudes we've met, and you're just like homies with them, and it's just like, yo, what's up? Good to see you. Then you jump right back in. It feels like you never, left each other, and have some beers and hang out, and it's almost just like one big party in a sense. It's it's just fun. I mean, the keynotes are awesome, to Dan's point, but really, meeting people and a year from now running into you somewhere and it's like, yo, what's up, Ian? How you doing? It's just good networking. And I know that word networking is like an industry buzzword, but it really is just good networking, and it's natural networking. It's not like, I got my business card, let's do business. It's just, making some friends. And usually there's going to be one through line of something that, common interest of, whether there be design or whatever it is, music, shoes. It's just gonna be fun all around, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I'm excited to hear you talk in your presentation and speech, because we've heard a couple of them, and just like you said, it's like shoes, coffee, and community, and I've heard a couple of yours like talking about that whole community and businesses and how that works or should work. So I'm excited about that.
I appreciate it. I think I was looking at the run show. I don't know if it's important or not important. I don't know if it's okay to say, but I think I started. I think I kick it off. I was like, man, that's a hot spot to be.
Exactly. Better be ready to go. Can't even gauge it off the other speakers.
I'm like, well, for everybody else, y'all should be good from here. I done broke the ice, but no, it's I'm honored. I mean, when I first got the ask, I was like, you sure? Like, I don't know if I'm
absolutely.
I don't know if I'm the one. Like, I would love to do it, but I don't know if I'm the. And I've known about Lincoln for so long, cool. And just looking at what y'all do whenever I go to like One Moto and all that kind of stuff, and just being like, man, this is a cool brand, this is a cool group, and just like the energy that everybody always has, and so I was like, please make sure that you meant to call me, because I'm not about to, because if that's true, like before I say yes, like you tell me yes one more time, like in person, but I'm super honored, man. I'm for real, like I'm very excited. There was two things I was very excited about this year. This one, and I spoke at the coffee conference that was in town.
Nice.
And just to be able to talk to the coffee people about like, hey, let's not talk about coffee for a second. Let's talk about people for a bit. Totally. And to be able to share that, I was very thankful.
Yeah, I think something you do here, which is really good, is just like, you're not doing any market research because you are the market. You don't even have to fake the funk. You just be be who you are, and the people recognize it. And I think that's something that we have at the studio with a lot of our clients is we're not really doing a ton of market research. You know what I mean? People are coming to us for whatever design, and it's like, oh yeah. I mean, our market research was done, the night before at the skate spot, where maybe your
exactly
your market research was natural. Whatever, you were watching the game or listening to whatever, and it's not even market research. It's just you being who you are.
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about the skate community and any of these areas where you have you create like individual creativity. Like on the basketball court, like the way you dribble, the way you shoot, the way you move is all you've been watching somebody else, or you can't get around the defense, or you can't get to the basket, or right, and you just create. And when you're skating, you see some things that you want to jump off of, you want to grind, you want to whatever, and you just create a line, and so all of that is just like, it's a different version of creativity that most people don't think about. But when you're watching something, you're like, man, that is inspiring, and yeah, that's cool.
100%.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm like a big nerd.
That might be something that's a through line for our conference.
Yeah,
everyone who's there, speakers and attendees, they're probably all just big nerds.
Big nerds.
Nerding out on something.
Definitely something.
We're just swaggy nerds,
Exactly.
I like that. I like that. So we always end with 2 questions. This don't have to be the end, but I got 2 questions. You mentioned you learned a little bit of the programs. This might be over your head. You could let us know, but Vector or Raster?
Vector, because I understand it more.
Okay.
Raster, I still don't get.
Yeah.
I just know that it makes my files, my file size is a little bit more.
Big too.
Yeah.
You're probably dealing with a lot of tech packs and.
Yeah, but for the most part on the work side, like in development, I didn't really tell them that I knew Illustrator. Because once designers know that you can fix something on their tech pack, they're like, you fix it. I'm like, hey man, you forgot to add a double row stitch. You're like, you know what to do.
Yeah.
Just go ahead, offset that path and you're good. Just go ahead, they're like, go.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, and from the development side, when you're in a big company, they don't want you to do more, they want you to be, you're a developer.
Right.
That's it. It's like you shouldn't know these things, but there were definitely those opportunities where it helped.
Okay,
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a heated debate online of one or the other.
Yeah,
so,
so Vector.
Well, Vector's a clear winner.
Vector gang.
Yeah.
We'll get the numbers. That's all it is, man.
Yep, we'll add one to the
ratios.
So, last question. Being that you're from Virginia, very important question to myself.
2 up, 2 down.
Drake or Pusha T? Think hard on this one.
Yeah,
you're from Virginia.
I know. I feel like. What did you say earlier? Like, if there's a question you don't want to answer, just say. Just be like, we'll edit it out. Yeah.
No. Your girl's not watching this.
Yeah.
So you can now
but
answer.
Baby girl, you know what I'm saying? I love Drizzy.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna go Drake because I like hype.
Okay.
I like the energy.
Yeah.
I also love Toronto. And Drake is a big copycat, and I don't care.
Okay.
So I will be honest about, like, I love Southern hip hop and all that stuff because I just love bass, and I don't care that the music repeats. I don't care that you're just talking about women and cars and grills and all that stuff. I don't care. Just make me excited.
Make it sound good.
And I don't really I don't love overly conscious hip hop. Which is, blasphemy. My brother I grew up listening to all the underground stuff. My brother, him and his homies used to rap a little bit. But like when I'm being like educated, bro, I'm not here for the.
You're not here for.
I'm not here for the education. Like do a podcast or something.
Right.
Like tell me a good story. The best educator when you don't realize you learned something, to me, is Andre 3000. You're like, whoops, did I just get, hold on a second. Did I just get wise all of a sudden? But yeah, Drake.
Okay, good.
Team Drizzy.
We'll put one on the board for Drake.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. We're the Drake Vector gang.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, cool. That's
Good
good.
answer.
Yeah, man. That
was great.
I appreciate y'all having me here. I don't know if this is the end or not, but
Yeah, no,
you
we're
know,
gonna wrap it up. And
I know y'all got stuff to do.
Yep.
Got another interview here shortly.
Yep. Yeah, and you got some coffee. You got people are in there
Somebody in there.
cranking away.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm thankful. I'm supposed to be on shift today.
Yeah. So someone's working extra hard because you're out here with us.
We just hired somebody new. You know, sometimes you just got to throw them in.
Yep.
Yeah, she's been training a couple days. She's fine.
And this iced coffee was fire.
There we go. See,
Yes.
see,
Yeah.
there we go.
She made a great.
Yeah, good
great
job.
Coffee.
The
Karen
oat
and
milk,
Alina.
the ratio was perfect.
Good.
So, yeah.
Great.
Good. Shout out to the oat milk homies.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We will see you out in the woods this summer.
I'm
It's coming up
hyped to
quick.
be in the woods, man.
Yeah.
45 days or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Something like that.
Yeah. I guess we better start working on the speech. Huh?
Coming quick. Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
Cool.
Yep.